not.
And I have no idea what's coming up here.
Yeah. So, we kind of are on the fly today at the Great Northern Sex Cast. So, Colleen, I have enough here today to freak out Megan for probably at least the next 30 to 45 days.
You know what I forgot?
What?
I forgot to say Happy New Year.
Happy New Year!
I just realized that. On the last show we did it late, and now we're doing this one, and I forgot to say Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year, everybody. And, for me, the first week of the new year is almost like not real. And now I realize that there is an 18 at the end of the date. And so I can handle it, and I'm more open to the whole thing. Mm-hmm. Whereas right after I'm like, yeah, whatever. I don't know.
The last week of December and the first week of January, I'm assuming that there's a culture in there that has a word for it, but it's like one time period.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure.
Is.
For sure.
But pretty much everyone's back in school, and the traffic is back up to levels. It was really lovely driving into work with no one on the roads the past couple of weeks.
That was really nice. The other thing too is we are in a heat wave.
Yes, it's a whole 40 degrees, which is a good 55 degrees warmer than it was a week ago.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we're happy and snug here at the Great Northern Sex Cast. So this one's dedicated to Megan.
Okay.
Male sex dolls with bionic penises are better than vibrators. Penises that are better than vibrators coming this year. So we talk about female sex robots all the time on the Great Northern Sex Cast, and it's that same California startup that sells the really, really Realbotics. Mm-hmm. The really expensive ones are like $15,000, right? And this is an artificial intelligence system that powers these things that's called Harmony. And they have a smart mobile app and a robotic head, and they work kind of together. And so they've got the female ones. The males are coming this year.
I'm curious. It is really easy to find a sex toy for a female.
Yep.
There's a lot of different vibrators, a lot of different dildos, different things. Men do have a smaller selection of masturbators and cock rings and a few things, but there's a whole, variety of penises out there. Mm-hmm. And so I'm not sure. I mean, guys have had sex dolls for years. I mean, they're sort of used to that. But you would think that if sex dolls for women were popular, that I would have more. There just isn't a lot of full dolls out there that are guys, and the ones we have are more novelty. We tried larger torsos, never really did anything, and I'm just wondering, are they marketing this to women, or are they marketing it to gay men?
Actually,
so it's going through there because it just. I mean, yes, we sell a lot of dildos. Yes, we sell a lot of vibrators. Yes, we sell a lot of little bullet vibes and stuff like that for folks that are can be intimidated by a faux penis. But there hasn't been women knocking down my door saying, I want a full-size sex doll.
Well, this press release does talk to women mostly. And there's no set size for the penis, so you can kind of customize that whole thing. And they're marketing it that he can go forever. I don't know about that either.
Yeah, the two of us just looked at each other and said,
like, at some point, somebody wants a sandwich. Moving on.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I got things to do. I do not need to have sex forever. It's fun and I enjoy it, and like most folks have just had more time for it.
But you could flip a switch and just say, okay, we're done now, and he won't be offended.
Well, yeah, there is that. But
Gwyneth Paltrow again.
Okay.
So before she was about the cucumbers and the vaginas?
The cucumbers and the steaming of the vagina and the jade egg and who knows what other asinine things.
Yeah, and her website is called Goop, which, AKA crap is, what I would call it. Now she's recommending that readers give themselves a coffee enema. And
this is not new. I have seen plenty of things. I mean, people there were enemas, when you don't need them, have sort of hit popular. There was a L.A. Story. It was a Steve Martin and Sarah Jessica Parker years ago, stuff like that. At one point, they go to a colonic place. Okay. So there are the idea of just therapeutic enemas and all that sort of stuff is not a new thing.
No, no.
And there are people that will you put alcohol up your ass so that or tampon soaked or vodka soaked tampons to try, because these are walls that fluids can pass through and alcohol can pass through. By the way, don't do this. Yeah. But but really, coffee enema.
Yeah. Yeah. And so she's selling them on her website, and it's called the Implantorama System At-Home Coffee Enema. $135.
Say that again. Implantorama?
Implantorama System At-Home Coffee Enema.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So doctors are coming back and saying coffee enemas and colonics offer no health benefit. The biology used to support these therapies is unsound. There are very real complications. Keep the coffee out of your rectum and in your cup. Yes. It is only meant to access your colon from the top. Yeah. And that is a direct quote. Mm-hmm. Okay?
I just.
You okay?
Back cramp.
Okay.
I shifted. See, I'm sitting on a leather sofa and I've got leggings on. So I slid in this really weird position. And I'm telling you, my lower back did not like that.
Well, right now you look like you're going to be consumed by the crack of the couch. She's
probably
falling into it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so there's a new sex toy out called High, as in H-I, as in waving high.
Okay.
It's 10 orgasms in 10 minutes.
And you would want that? Why? Is it for women, men? What's
women.
going through there?
And it's it's a kind of a massager that can be used to pleasure different erogenous spots on the body, and they are claiming that it's multiple orgasms.
I'm gonna have to have Tara look into that, but
yep.
I mean, hell, depending on who you are and how your body's wired and where your mind is, any sex toy can give you 10 orgasms in 10 minutes, or one long one, or how are they registering that? Because they don't even actually know medically to this date how an orgasm actually works. They have ideas, but they haven't really studied it all that much, because that would involve, trying to get funding for sex.
Oh.
And damn well that doesn't happen in the U.S.
I just want to see what the truth in advertising people come up with, or the truth in advertising police, I guess you should say, because here's a quote. Its patented method stimulates all, in capitals, of women's intimate areas simultaneously, capitalized.
Oh, geez.
So we'll see. Are you looking it up?
I'm trying to locate it. We'll have to figure it out. When I looked up high sex toys, I got high tech and a whole bunch of other things, but I'm not coming up with HI.
Yep, HI.
Most of the stuff here is talking about high all sorts of list.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So did you know that there's such a thing as a sex choreographer? It's an actual job on film and TV sets for actors in scenes to help them go from zero to being able to feign intimacy. And so they actually have people that come in, and it's not really a fluffer.
No. I mean, you're talking about mainstream films.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You would have to have that. If you've had two folks that or at least one person who's never done a scene before, and you've got a director, and you've got the characters for each one. They're probably talking to everyone about how this would happen. You've got everything that's going on with why the sex is happening. Mm-hmm. If you have a sword fight coordinator that involves two or three multiple people, and you have fight coordinators and a whole bunch of different things, why would you not have a sex coordinator?
And they're also there to sort of allay the anxiety of there's a crew. Many people on set.
You would have to have that, because it's something that has to be filmed too, and then you have to you got the sheets and the different things. Yeah. I mean, you block everything else out in theater and movies and commercials and stuff like that. Why would you not block out the sex?
I know. I think it makes it's just kind of funny. Sex
coordinator
or sex choreographer rather. I mean, everybody's
but
like,
I've never actually. I'm going to have to take a look next time. I never watch the credits, but I'm going to have to take a look and see if it's listed in the credits.
By the time they get to the really sort of arcane stuff, you can't see it anymore because it goes by so quick.
Damn fast. Yeah.
You could probably Google it though. All right, this one's for Megan again. Okay, you know how the electronic show is just starting. It was all over the news this morning, and that's where Gadgetry, the latest, the greatest, the newest stuff is debuting, and it's in Vegas, right?
Oh yeah, been to that. It's been fun.
Oh well, it's you learn about all the neatest stuff. Well, Sapphire Gentlemen's Club decided to take part, and they have commissioned electronic twins R2DD and Triple CPU. They're robot strippers. Which, come on, man, this is funny stuff. They've got molded breasts and behinds, and they have nothing but garters. They gyrate, and they've got monitors on their heads, okay? And then human dancers are dancing like around them. And the Sapphire owner said, well, we thought this would be a great way to tie into the CES. And he said these are interesting because they're super fun, and they're originally art pieces, and they were created a few years ago. What year was that? 2008. And the heads are CCTV cameras, and so they were part of an installation, and this guy is basically renting them for this. Now, wouldn't the geeks at the electronics show absolutely love this?
I'm fascinated. Okay,
Digisexuality.
I saw the original Star Wars films when I was a kid, right? Theaters, all that sort of stuff. I never bothered to see the second three. I haven't seen the last two. It's just I don't care.
Yeah.
It's not something but I have friends that love it. I mean, they're into the cosplay. They're into that. They've won awards. They've done all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I get sent stuff. There's I can't believe they haven't been shut down yet, but there's, Star Wars themed vibrators in Australia.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Why not Star Wars themed art installations with gyrating dancers? I mean, there isn't anything.
Robots, yeah.
I mean, Disney World right now has like 75% of the old Disney Hollywood studio shut down because they're building Star Wars Land and Toy Story World.
Yep.
Looking, and it just, I mean, and just the amount of stuff going through social media and the news right now about the new films and the fact that there's women and people of color in them is a whole separate thing too. So art installations with Star Wars themes. I'm surprised there isn't more.
They're not really Star Wars. They're just robots, but they're
robots.
named the names.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I mean, they're obviously, working off of that. I mean, if Battlestar Galactica had done better, they would have named them off of that crap. Or Star Trek if they'd never done it.
But I just think it's hysterical that here's the biggest electronics show. It's in Vegas, so of course they have to have robo strippers. I mean, that's just fantastic. I think that's so funny. And then they're going to spend, I think, a week or two at the club. So people can go see them at Sapphire's Gentlemen's Club if that's your thing. I don't know about this one. I'm extremely skeptical.
Okay.
The one thing you should never do before sex, according to doctors, is venture a guess.
Have sex?
Sloppy seconds? Bad? I don't know.
Eat a heavy meal, run a marathon.
No. It's something very mundane, and it's
eat garlic.
Pee. And I'm like, what? And there's this guy, a New York urologist named Dr. Kaufman, saying that your toilet habits can either prevent or cause urine infection. So he said that the idea that you should pee before sex is a big misconception that he has to clear up for female patients.
You're supposed to pee after sex so that you flush everything out.
That's
I've heard
right.
that.
And he says that so don't go first, because otherwise you won't have the fluids to flush everything out.
But then again, having sex with a full bladder is not comfortable.
Well, thank you.
So I'm not sure how you're supposed to coordinate your fluid intake here, but I would say pee when you damn well have to pee.
I agree. I'm not a good gratification deprivation person. I mean, it's like I will do it when I want to, when it's convenient for me. If you tell me I can't, I'm going to want it more, and I'll probably slug you. So it's like, don't tell me no. That's just me. There's Kegels for guys.
Oh, again, well, they have. Is this for urinary control or
ED, everything?
Just everything.
Yeah.
Because they have fewer muscles down there anyway, which is why they end up getting constipated and more hemorrhoids sometimes because they're straining too much.
Yeah.
So I can see why not.
Yeah. Apparently, this is a sad stat. 70% of guys will experience some form of erectile dysfunction at some point. And they're saying that if you do this, it can really help prevent it and even reverse, get you back too. So basically, it's a workout for the pelvic floor. And like you just mentioned, Colleen, because you're pretty knowledgeable about this stuff, helps your bowel, your bladder, as well as the ED stuff. And these muscles, as they do in everybody, weaken with age. So the Journal of Urology, well known, found that strengthening a man's pelvic floor can help. So 75% of men in a 2005 study actually showed improvement after this. So how do you do it? And they say tighten your pelvic floor muscles, like the ones that would stop you from peeing. Mm-hmm. So do whatever you do to do that. Hold the contraction for 3 seconds, then relax for 3 seconds. This one's kind of terrifying. Repeat 30 times. 30.
I still remember. I still remember when my first girlfriend announced she was pregnant, and she was talking about Kegels, and we're all in the car and we're driving, and suddenly realized everyone's sort of quiet, and because she was explaining what Kegels were, because we're in our mid-20s, we hadn't thought about it before, right?
Right.
And suddenly someone went, "Are we all doing Kegels right now?" We're like, "Yes, we are."
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm guessing that if you're listening to this and you're a guy, you're probably 30 times. I personally, I'd lose count. But
I know, because I would get distracted.
But it is definitely something that, you want to keep everything down there too, because you don't want to be constipated. You don't want to have ED. You want to have decent urinary, flow. Yeah. So this sounds incredibly simple. Yeah. I wonder if it has anything to do with does it mention anything about the prostate? And I mean, if you're clenching and doing stuff like that, I wonder if it has anything, if it helps out with
it doesn't mention the prostate, but it does say that guys should do these sets 3 to 4 times a week, and try doing them sitting sometimes, standing sometimes, and walking sometimes. Mm-hmm. So there you go, guys. That's our PSA for the week. All right, so time for some predictions. We did looking back on the last show of bizarre things that people were putting in vaginas and butts. Now let's look at the top 5 sex trends for 2018. Colleen, I would like to know if you agree or disagree.
Okay, let's see. I know that Tara's got some new stuff coming in for Valentine's.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Number 1, Megan, sex robots. Demand is amping up, and brothels across Europe are offering dolls instead of real women. Expect the trend to continue. Your thoughts?
Well, I'm sure that there's from watching the Bunny Ranch thing on HBO here years ago, it sounds like, there's always a negotiation. I'm guessing with the doll, there's probably set fees. You know exactly what's happening when we're going in. Yep. So I can see that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think this is going to get crazier. I mean, we had Dr. Markey on a couple shows back. We love her. Mm-hmm. She was home visiting from Las Vegas, where she's on loan for a couple years. And she writes about digisexuality. Mm-hmm. And you can look that up, digisexuality. And she's kind of an expert in it. Next up, not a far-fetched, virtual reality sex and porn. 3D models And you could bonk your favorite celebrity, something like that. I would think that they would have to license themselves for this, but who knows?
And you also have to not get motion sick while using, VR glasses. And that is a huge, huge thing that they're working with in goggles and VR. So many people get sick when they're using this those glasses.
Yeah. Well, and scientists and doctors are warning that these could, with prolonged use and depending on where you fall on the scale of mental health, it could really, for some people, blur the lines dangerously between reality and fantasy.
Well, I understand that video games and stuff like that have an addiction to that, have an official
It's recognized
recognized as an addiction, and I could see where something like this, it's the same thing. It's a video game. It's just, one that you have an orgasm with. Same thing.
The Orgasmatron. Number 3, customizable sex toys. Remember we talked the other day about the Wobbling Willy? Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
That's where you can have your boyfriend or... Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, we had one that you could do. I'm blanking on the name of it. Oh my God, we had it for years. But you can mold your own penis, and I'm assuming it's going to be easier to send information to a company and have custom made dildos. And I mean, to this day, the phone apps for the WeVibe and other things are customizable for what you want. The dolls are all customizable. I mean, people want what they want. I mean, most high-end bondage is now exactly what you want. Your color, cut, specification, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to carry a lot more rubber and leather, but people want exactly what they want.
Yep.
Yeah. Not just, a random rubber skirt that anyone could get. It's all gone to high-end, small companies. I mean, good for them. I mean, to some extent it was difficult. I never knew what to buy because,
Yeah, that would be hard. That would be. And now there's so much out of it that, you probably made a good business decision there, I would think. BDSM, number 4. And the third installation of the 50 Shades of Grey saga, which I think sucks. Is
I couldn't even read it. I know I've said that before.
The writing was so bad.
I didn't bother seeing the movies because it. I mean, I know a woman wrote this, but it's still from as far as I could tell, it's still from a male point of view, and I don't, and I mean that's fine. But it's not how they marketed it, and all the toys and all stuff like that. And I mean, we've always done well with bondage and fantasy gifts. Yeah. And so we didn't bother with the
jumping on an even bigger bandwagon.
Yeah, it's there, and the thing is and then they had to pay license fees for like the 50 Shades of Grey name. So they ended up jacking the prices on items that I didn't think were actually made all that well. I mean, we have plenty of lovely cuffs and the Sport Sheets brand and different. Oh, that reminds me, I have to buy rope. Okay. Yeah, I got a note.
A lot of people go, coffee, bananas.
Yeah, no, rope. Yeah, I got a text saying we're running a lope. I've got to get some rope ordered.
That was as real as it gets on the Great Northern Sex Cast. There you go, people. The COO of Fantasy Gifts, note to self, need rope. Okay, but that's real. This one's interesting, and you're so funny. It's almost like you accidentally led into all the different ones. A second ago, you mentioned WeVibe. So number 5 trend is long distance love. And what they mean is different companies that allow you to play together without being in the same room. Colleen, describe what these are.
Well, one of the companies that's sort of innovated this is called WeVibe, and it's a vibrator that you can wear, and it has an app, and then and then another person can control what that app is doing. And it's just been, and they've done really well. We have, a half a dozen different items from this company. We actually have, they created a prostate or an anal toy that is really nice, and then they've got the traditional WeVibe. They had like 4 or 5 different versions, and there's so many different things. They're on our website. It's functioning now. It's lovely. There's still a few things here and there that aren't working, but you type in WeVibe, WeVibe, you'll see all the ones pop up.
Okay.
I've put them under, if you're curious about Valentine's coming up, we're adding the stuff into our Valentine's suggestions, and they're going to be listed in the is it really a good couple's toy?
Yep.
It's going through them. That's heterosexual couple, pretty much, or it doesn't work as well. Some of the stuff, I mean, the anal one would, but the traditional one is for a male-female or a female-female couple.
Okay. So the guys are getting cheesed a little bit. Well, I think this would be interesting to use one of these. So, you mostly think of it as like, if you're across town or in a different city or something like this. I think it'd be fun to do this like on the other, like in adjoining rooms, like across from each other, and like wait as long as you can to possibly have sex. I have to put that on my list. That's what Kelly's going to do this week. Okay. I about fell over, and I had never seen this term before, and tell me if you've heard about it. There's a new way to turn women on and get them in the mood. So if guys want more action in 2018, you need to learn how to do chore play. Have you heard of it?
That sounds like a bad meme. How to turn on a woman. Here's, they show a guy vacuuming or something. Like you're just running down stereotype land here.
Yep. Women being aroused when their partners tidy up around the house and using vacuuming et al. As foreplay. And, the act of doing chores around the house in an effort to win sexual favors from one's significant other. Chore play.
It just,
I'll tell you what. If I'll trade a blowjob for a good top to bottom house cleaning.
But it would be a lot nicer if folks just did the things, and if it was like divvied up to where it made sense to begin with, that you didn't have to trade sexual favors for a clean house, or to reward someone for doing what they should already be doing, which is taking care of the house that you both live in.
Well, and just help.
It just sounds. It sounds sexist on both parts.
Yep.
What's going through there?
Yep. I'm not sure if I'm surprised about this one or not. I'd be curious to see if you are. Silicon Valley, right? A hotbed of innovation and smart people. Let's just be honest. So there's a Vanity Fair article, and they just published an excerpt of a book in Vanity Fair. The book's called Brotopia, Brotopia, and it's the prevalence of parties where sex and drugs, specifically ecstasy, are the norm in Silicon Valley. These young companies rife with millennials. Does this surprise you at all?
Oh, it's no different than Wall Street or any other place where you have a crap ton of 20-some folks without any responsibilities, such as children, for God's sakes. They're going to party.
Well, they start out, apparently one of their favorite, sort of formats is a cuddle puddle. That's a whole big group just kind of, groping, and then they split off for twosomes or threesomes. And, they talk business at these parties, and there is sort of an aspect where some females aren't comfortable going, but they also worry about their careers if they don't. But then if they do go and participate, how's that going to affect their career? So that's a more interesting.
Yeah.
I just don't know when it's ever good to fuck your coworkers.
No.
I just don't think it's a good idea.
I mean, if you folks, you get lucky, you meet someone at work and do all that sort of stuff. But that sort of casualness, we might be sounding fuddy-duddy and old here, but and the thing is that for all I keep hearing is that there's a hell of a lot more guys in this company than there are women, which means that the balance at these events have to be off, or that the same women are always there, and the double standard, I don't care whether it's 2018, is still pretty damn prevalent. Mm-hmm. So, and then you've got all the stuff with the crap at Uber and this and that. There can't be anything about this that is remotely equal for the men and the women at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going through there.
they do make sure that the female guests outnumber the males. So that's a little.
Well, now those are probably there's less women in that industry, so those got to be some pretty exhausted women.
Yeah, either that or they're from outside the industry. Yep. For once, it's nice to see a freaky, potentially dangerous thing that guys are doing to their own junk. In light of all the things that women are doing and have done and are expected to do in some cases. Have you heard of penis whitening?
Well, people have been bleaching hair in whitening areas for a while, so they're talking about
the skin. This is the skin.
Yeah.
So apparently, a patient complained about having dark parts on his groin. And he got laser whitening treatment, and he was really happy with this. There was a segment about it on TV in Thailand, and so this hospital that did it went viral, I guess. And a lot of people are asking about it. They're doing about 100 clients per month between roughly 22 and 55 years of age. And I guess the penis is often darker than the rest of the body. It's because during puberty, sex hormones like estrogen and testosterone spike, and they can produce melanin in the crotch area and cause things to darken. And so guys are feeling self-conscious. Some doctors are warning that lasers on your junk can be dangerous.
People had asked, and we did sell for a while, and I don't think it sold all that well. Bleach cream for like labia and sort of, and men could have used it too and stuff like that. And I'm like, and I really had a hard time with it because I'm like, is that something that I want to sell? Is that something that I want to promote? But people kept asking, and we brought it in, and so I can see where maybe guys saw this and decided that they would try it too. But that's the color that you are. Don't. I just, laser or just, that does not sound safe.
Yeah.
It just doesn't.
No.
Well,
we talked in a previous show about 10 firefighters taking 6 hours to remove a cock ring that went wrong. And I don't know about a laser, guys. Think about Star Wars. Just saying. So funny. I saw this the other day when I was eating lunch, and I thought it was perfect Great Northern Sex Cast fodder. So there's this woman writing an article theorizing that maybe sex robots will make men obsolete, not women, which goes with the story that we kicked off today's show. There's been a lot of talk about female robots becoming so realistic and so adept at sex that, men can't have real women relationships with them or don't want them. And this female author saying, I think they should be worried because robots could probably outperform them. And she said, women are as, perfectly capable of crude objectification as they are. And, robots don't discriminate. So why couldn't, women, go ahead? So anyways, there's this whole article. We'll post it on the Great Northern Sex Cast page, but she does put up some pretty interesting ideas. But she throws in one idea. She's like, what if a hacker got into your robot and turned him into a killer? But that could happen to a guy. So anyway, thoughts?
It's another masturbation tool. I mean, that's what I see. They're just high-end masturbation tools. Yep. And if that's where you are in your life, where you don't have time for another human right now, fine, go ahead. But that's what it is. I mean, but I could see that, but honestly, if you've got a lot going in your mind and in your life, and you're not interested in the care and the feeding of another human being right now, why not? And and women are busy. Oh, so if you just need, I still think, for the most part though, they're also very practical. I mean, there's a reasonable amount that they're going to spend on that orgasm.
Oh yeah.
And I suppose there are folks, but I don't see at this point, I don't see a huge market for that high end of a masturbation toy.
Right. Right.
I mean, maybe it's just the Midwest gal in me. But there are a hell of a lot of other things that I would rather spend $5,000 to $10,000 on.
Oh my God.
I mean, I just...
Yeah. I'd go spring for the most expensive vibrator, luxurious vibrator I wanted, and then get a hot tub.
Yeah.
It's just
and travel. I mean, they're just,
Oh, yeah. Whatever. Mm-hmm. So, finally today, this is kind of an interesting one, and, based on so many things in the news, like the Me Too movement and some very high profile sexual harassment stuff. There was an exchange between Sarah Silverman and, did you hear about this? And another Twitter user, a guy.
The one that called her a cunt.
Yes.
And then she ended up, I've seen this, it ran across my social media feed sometimes. I thought it was wonderful because she's got a new show called I Love You America. And she's out there. I mean, I don't think you get any more liberal than Sarah Silverman. Mm-hmm. But she's attempting to find, to not take people's, I mean, honestly, I have to admit that I honestly believe in a little bit of shame and ridicule when someone is very racist or misogynist or bigoted, because obviously for some folks the reason isn't working. But she's going and she's trying to find some people where reason might work, and she's, she has the resources and the skills to have things work. And someone trolled her, and she engaged him, and she ended up finding the guy some therapy and some back and a doctor and a whole bunch of other stuff, because she saw when she went and sort of looked at his social media page that he was in so much personal pain, mental and physical, that he was just taking it out. He didn't believe this shit. He just wanted. It's been a lovely. It really is a lovely story.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed. She can be quite provocative when she has the guy from the played that's in Bull right now, and it was played Anthony DiNozio. She had him play Jesus in a skit that she did where they were talking about abortion. So she can be highly provocative, but she looked at this and said, "I'm not biting. I'm going to see what's up with this guy." Now, I'm guessing that there are folks that troll her. She looks at, and they've, and they're, wearing a pointed hood that's white. She may not have as good luck with this, but this guy was someone she went, I see something here, and I'm going to try, and it seemed to work out.
Yeah,
really well. I thought that was really cool.
Yep, a story about compassion. So, getting very close to VD. Mm-hmm. And just want to get some fantasy gift updates. Well,
we've the switch over for lingerie has been made. Okay. So we've got a lot of pink and a lot of red, but another color that sells really well for us during the holiday season. And if you want to support the Vikings, is we have a lot of lovely purple items out in the store.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We're Wicked Lube is out there. It's doing really well. We have a lovely pheromone kit. It's not on the website yet, but that's going to be going on. There is a fun little heart paddle with little hearts on it that's going out from Sport Sheets.
Cool.
We've got just a lot of really, really... like I said, we don't brand a lot of Valentine-y stuff anymore, because then you look at it in March and like, well, it has hearts all over it. So it's more pink and red and purple and romantic.
Okay.
That we're looking at. We just found that, once again, this is Midwest. We're pretty practical people.
Yeah, we are.
We've got some lovely stockings that have hearts up, that like a scene with hearts up the back.
Oh, cute.
Little stuff like that. It's just really, really, really cute. Most of it's out in the stores now, or will be going out in the next week or so. We've got the Super Bowl coming out, so we're here in Minnesota, we don't hopefully the Vikings might be in it. That would be really cool.
Be insane.
So the purple, like I said, we've got plenty of purple in there for folks that might be looking to support the local team.
Perfect.
And that's about it. And one thing I want to do is that folks may have heard that Michael and Eric,
yes,
they're going to be moving soon. And I did want to mention that you can find it on the Great Northern Sex Cast page and the Fantasy Gifts page. There is a link to their GoFundMe. Okay. The MS has really taken a toll on Eric, and I wanted to, and if folks wanted to take a look at their story and see what's going through there, they're going to be moving down to Florida because he's got a neuropathy that makes the cold just too painful for them.
Okay.
We didn't get a chance to talk about the fundraiser that was on Sunday that my IT guy, Rob and Jen put together a wonderful fundraiser for him at the Main Street Bar in Hopkins. But their GoFundMe page is, if I can find it here, well, it's like GoFundMe South Beach Bound. You can see it on the Facebook page for both Fantasy Gifts and Great Northern Sex Cast.
Okay, and Michael, we're going to miss Michael and Eric both, but we wish them all the best and hopefully some better health in the South. Okay, we will be back next week. Everybody have a good one.
Yep.